this is the river that we first started the Outrigger Canoe Club, Wairoa River, and across the river there is, you see a shed. That's the shed we built for our club. Our club was started in 1984, and it was initiated by a good friend of mine by the name of Matahi Waiti. And Matahi comes from Gisborne, and he brought a crew up here to Wairoa, to Tauranga, and he paddled up this river. And it was him that introduced to me Outrigger Canoe. And it was from there that a relative of mine who was an Outrigger canoe builder, built all the outriggers, 3 outriggers for our club. And what happened was that we went to Auckland, and they gave us a mould up in Auckland. We bought the mould back, and we built 4 canoes out of the mould. And that's how this club started, back in 1984. We had 3 women's teams, 2 men, open men teams, and 1 masters team. And we used to train in the mornings and at night on the Wairoa. Most times on the Sundays we used to paddle right out to the harbour, Tauranga Harbour, right across to the mount, and right down past Mangatapu and back here to the Wairoa. So the membership increased, and it was from here in 1987 I decided to start another club in Tauranga. I went into Tauranga and I made inquiries with the council and with the Tauranga Harbour Board about forming a club in Tauranga, and they were very receptive to the idea, and they gave us a bit of land in Tauranga by the wharf, free of charge, for us to start our Outrigger Canoe Club. Yeah, well, this is where we set up our second Outrigger Canoe Club way back in 1987, 88, and our club was set up here on this piece of land here, where this monstrosity of a building is now, and we had 4 outriggers here, and our club became a very strong club here in Tauranga, and it was the first Outrigger Canoe Club that we set up here in Tauranga, and we named the club the Tauranga Moana Outrigger Canoe Club, and I was the initiator of setting up this club, and we used to launch our outriggers down here and out towards Moana. And this was our training patch out here, where we do all our sprints up and down, and for our marathons we used to paddle right out to Mauau and down to Mangatapu and back, and up to Matakana Island. And yes, so we had a very strong club here, and so that means that we had this club, and we also had the club on the Wairoa River.
The idea of running the Tauranga Harbour Challenge about November, I think, of '96. We were at a girls' training camp trying to pick the teams for nationals, and the 3 of us out on a walk up in McLaren's Falls Park, Shelley, Tanya and myself, and we said to each other, hey, we should do a race. We should do a race in Tauranga because it's the best place that you could possibly run a race for the beautiful harbour and sort of central, and we said, oh, this would be ideal, why don't we just do a big race and freak the old fellas out and get heaps of people to come to it, because I'm sure people would support it. Hey?
And then we started talking about when we'd gone and raced and that, what we felt was missing in races, and it was always...
good feed.
Yeah, we wanted really good food. That was the most important thing. And what else?
Oh, good prizes.
Yeah.
Real good prizes.
They usually had... I better not say that, crappy prizes, and so we decided that was what the focus was for us, for the food and the prizes.
And the more we talked about it, the more we thought we've got someone who can make cool trophies. A friend, Shelley's father-in-law,
Yeah.
Martin, and we had contacts for prizes, and we knew that we could cook up a storm, so we thought, oh, let's do it. But we had to go back to the club. And well, first we convinced the ladies, so everyone got on board with us. It was Daryl and Bronwyn and Nahiti and B and everyone. And then we, I remember going to the club meeting, and we had this plan to tell the old fellas. But when we brought it up, I think they were a bit shocked. That they were like, oh, well, it sounds like a good idea, but you know, who's going to do it all? And we said, oh, we'll do it. It won't be hard. It'll be really easy.
We'd already basically allocated jobs to all of the
We'd
women.
sorted it all out. So it just kind of went from there, really. Eh? You went round town like a mad thing and convinced nearly every person that you've ever done business with to donate prizes. We had the mothers on cooking, and all the girls in the team.
All had a lot of jobs. I think I made 6 plum duffs and 7 trays of lasagna, and your dad did the...
Our dad did the spit roast. We had a couple of big spit roasts.
Yeah, I got a special deal from Dwayne Harnett. Yeah.
So all sorts of people pulled in, which was really cool. And then we went to the Nationals that year, which was 97 up at Whangarei. And we'd created these posters and entry forms, and we went round to all the clubs and said, oh, you've got to come to this race. And they said, oh, who are you? And we said, oh, we're the girls from Tauranga. We're going to do this race. It's going to be really cool, and you've got to come. And I think they all felt sorry for us.
Yeah, they did.
They all giggled and said, oh, you will come. So suddenly we...
had a race.
We had a race, and we had, like, how many teams that first year? Crazy. There was like 40, I think it was, from memory, there was 47 women's crews and 48 men's or something like that.
Yeah.
It was huge. And suddenly we realised that we had to cook a whole lot more, get a whole lot of support boats, but everyone just pulled in, eh? It was really good.
It was an awesome time. And the prizes and everything went down really, really well. We had a friend that made sets of paddle covers for the winning team, and we had all sorts of sponsored prizes, didn't we?
Yeah, and Martin's trophies were just amazing. No one could believe it, so they were cool. The food was a huge amount of food.
Yeah, we got lots and lots of feedback about the amazing feed, and people kept coming back for more and more, and we certainly didn't run out, so yeah, it was awesome.
We didn't have much of an idea really about running it. We just ran it. We didn't know much about safety or anything like that. We just said, we got all the dads who had boats and said, you got to come and marshal this race for us, and they all just jumped in their boats and went round behind the paddlers and probably did all the wrong things, and we sort of had a safety plan, but you know, it was a bit sketchy, but it worked.
Didn't seem to be so important in those days.
Yeah, and it was the most beautiful day, so there was no...
It was like, the water was like glass, wasn't it? Yeah, so
that was the first Tauranga Moana race.
Paddy
and Bill and Gary, and then they all played a big part as well. They did a lot of the running of the race on the day, which was really good. Sort of organised that sort of stuff for us, which was great. And
involved in the safety stuff with making sure that the support boats knew what they needed to do and,
that's right.
And that sort of thing.
Because they'd been around for a while, so they knew a bit more about the racing stuff than us. We were just making it up and making sure that the meal went well.
Yeah, I came down from Auckland the end of '95 and joined the club soon after I got here. It's quite a interesting introduction. I've been for a couple of paddles with the boys, and they saw we're having a club night on probably Tuesday night or something next week. Come along and meet a few of the members. So I duly fronted up and went in, and there were about 5 people there sitting around the table, obviously having a committee meeting. I thought maybe I'm a bit too early, so I'll sit down and just listen in. So the meeting got underway, and then came up that the club did not have a secretary or treasurer, and I thought, I think I've been set up here. And so when I looked up, there were about 5 or 6 pairs of eyes all looking straight at me. So there was no way I could say no, because I had decided when I retired that I'd been fully involved in a lot of other organisations and clubs, and that I'd have a couple of years off, but that wasn't to be. I can recall the very first paddle I went with the guys. I'd been paddling with the Taniwha Grizzlies, who most of you would know, quite a strong club, and trained pretty hard. So I came down to the compound and got introduced to the guys. I said, well, you know, how far are you going and for how long? Oh, about an hour. We'll go over to Matakana Island, have a bit of a paddle around and come back. So that sounds good. So we went in the old blue canoe and chugged across over to Matakana Island. It was a beautiful evening, beautiful January evening. And we got over there and they ran the canoe up onto the beach. And then all the guys dived in the water and had a swim for about 20 minutes. Stood around and talked, and got in the canoe and we paddled back to the depot. I thought, wow, this is pretty low key. So I think had another couple of paddles which were a wee bit better in terms of intensity and duration. Although good, the boys are coming right. And until the following Sunday or a week or so later, I got in the canoe and paddled out, and we're going to paddle out through the harbour entrance and have a bit of a paddle round out there and come back again. We no sooner got away from the marina than there was a sandbank being low tide, and the canoe was going straight forward, and Bill Hiamaui was steering. And said to Bill, hey Bill, we're sort of heading for the sandbank. Right, go, we're okay. So we duly ran onto the sandbar. The next minute Bill's out of the canoe with the bucket, the bailing bucket, and filling it up with pippies. So that was the end of that Sunday morning session. So that was basically my introduction to the club, and I must say I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with the club, and been a great bunch of guys, and I really commend the work that the current people are doing, keeping the club going, and it looks to me it's going from strength to strength.